You know what? I've covered, I don't know, in excess of 1,000 NHL games in person, and that was in the top five best games I've ever seen live and in the building. There was so many things happening. Let's throw 2 minutes and 30 seconds up on the clock. And let's talk about those Edmonton Oilers who have advanced to their first Western Conference final since 2006. We talk so much about the stars needing to be the stars. And on a night where Connor admittedly doesn't quite have it, he said he was trying to find his legs and he wasn't quite at peak McDavid mode. Leon Draisaitl picks him up with a monster 4-point night, 3 primary assists, including an excellent play on the overtime winner to feed McDavid through a seam, who beats Jacob Markstrom, who finished the series with an 852 save percentage. And Mike, when you look at this series, it's kind of a fun question to answer. Who was the Oilers MVP? Was it McDavid? Was it Draisaitl? You could probably even make a case for Zach Hyman and the clutch goals that he scored. How about Evander Kane? I mean, the list of options is kind of endless.
Oh, it is. I mean, and if you look at last night's game, I think Zach Hyman was the best player on the ice. That was his show. And I love how he's become the human backboard standing off next to the post on the power play and in zone. He's got Draisaitl and McDavid shooting at him on purpose to try to deflect pucks in. But you just look at the output of Draisaitl in this series and McDavid. Like, look at Draisaitl. He's playing on one leg and he has 15 assists. Like, seriously? Like, that's incredible. So I think it's probably Draisaitl in the series, but the whole point of it is it's the depth of the Oilers that's got them going. And like Frank, they're so resilient, man. They got down 2-0 to the Flames last night and it didn't phase them. Like I feel like Woodcroft has an ability to speak to his players to keep them in the right mind frame that if they just stick to their system, they're going to be fine. And even a night, like McDavid said, where he didn't feel like he really had it, he still made such a difference over 200 feet of the ice. And we couldn't say that 2 years ago about Connor McDavid. So you look at that and you look at the fact that Edmonton scored 4 of their 5 goals at even strength, Frank. This is a team playing at a really high level right now. This wasn't a fluke that they beat the Flames.
Nope, and they were certainly a team that was emotionally in control in what was a very emotional series. You know, you mentioned down 2-0 game 5. Honestly, you almost felt like the Oilers felt like they had the Flames right where they wanted them. Calgary blew 2-goal leads in all 3 of their home games. And no matter how far ahead Calgary got in this series, what impressed me most about the Oilers and their effort night in and night out was that they were able to wrestle control back. If Calgary had it, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
ever for very long. And even as the Flames walked out of the building after a 9-6 win in game 1, they weren't feeling that great about themselves because Edmonton was able to get back in and reassert themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is that Edmonton wilted in previous years and they'd get down a couple goals. It'd be over. You could see that the maturity wasn't there. Right now, I think Edmonton looks like a really mature team.